What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and today I want to discuss how can Nintendo, quote, do better with the NX. You may remember a couple weeks ago, there was a quote by Nintendo of America president Reggie Quote that was making the rounds on the internet, and in it he was talking about how they kind of dropped the ball with the Wii U. For those of you that maybe missed the quote or have forgotten because it's been a while, here's what he had to say. We have to do a better job helping people to understand its uniqueness and what it means for the game-playing experience. Using the Wii U's launch as a comparison, we have to do a better job from a software planning standpoint to have a continuous beat of great new games that are motivating more and more people to pick up the hardware and more people to pick up the software. You have to make sure people understand the concept. You have to make sure you have a great library of games, and when you do that, you tend to do well. So Reggie made a lot of great points in this quote. Two of the biggest issues with the Wii U was its abysmal launch and the fact that there were numerous game droughts throughout the console's life. I'm willing to bet there are still people out there who don't know what the Wii U is. So I'd like to discuss today, how can Nintendo make this next console succeed? Going back to the steady stream of games remark, as I mentioned in my video about the NES Classic Edition, this sucker needs a kick-ass launch lineup. I don't want to hear this, the great games are on the way garbage when the system drops. I want to see multiple big Nintendo IPs from day one, as well as some third-party stuff. If this thing is in fact some kind of mobile home console hybrid, I need Monster Hunter as soon as possible. Staying with the third-party thing, I'm sorry, but Nintendo can't support this thing on their own. If you want to know what that looks like, just look at the Wii U. Nintendo needs some third parties here. Now, I'm not saying all the third parties, but certainly the partnerships that make sense. They still have ties with major players like Capcom, Ubisoft, and Square Enix, but they need to get some of the major titles here. Like, that's great, Ubisoft, that you're bringing the next Just Dance over the NX, but how about the new South Park game or For Honor? Also, I'm really hoping we're going to see Bayonetta 3 announced for the NX, and I'm hoping it remains an exclusive to Nintendo platforms. It's been too long since we got to drink the tears of all the salty fanboys who were outraged about the exclusivity of Bayonetta 2. Like, I'm sorry that your almighty Sony and Microsoft didn't give a shit about the series. Another big one for me is price. Now, of course, personally, they could probably charge $500 for this thing, and I'm going to buy it regardless. If this thing isn't able to boast high power comparable to the upcoming PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio, or hell, even the current Xbox One and PS4, then the price needs to be reflective of that and needs to come in at a lower price point. I understand that Nintendo gimmicks are expensive to research and develop, but as we're seeing in current and past gen console races, power matters. I mean, Jesus, in the early days of the PS4 and Xbox One, how many goddamn news stories did I see saying X game is 1080p native on the PS4 and a mere 900p native on the Xbox One? Like, we're really talking about a big difference. And people eat it up, jumping on the Sony bandwagon over such a small difference. If Nintendo isn't looking to compete in this category, they have to kill it in the price category, which is a scary thought as Nintendo does not like selling their systems at a loss. My last one may be a bit more personal, but throughout most of this generation, my major issue with Nintendo has been their lacking in online offerings. Now sure, we got some quality games towards the end with titles like Splatoon and Mario Maker, but if you look at the entire life cycle of the Wii U from beginning to end, the number of games with quality online experiences is sadly low. I get that Nintendo always wants to push the whole "we want people to come together and game as a family" deal, but I'm sorry, that is just not how people are gaming on a large scale these days. And on top of that, this thing comes out in 2017. Can fanboys stop pretending that we're in a world where you can only have one or the other? Take for instance a game like Mario Kart 8. That game is incredibly fun to play multiplayer, either online or offline. Would having more of that really be a bad thing? And not just the games themselves in terms of the online, but how about the services? Again, considering the year we're in, the Wii U launching with digital games tied to your console rather than your online account was insanely stupid. Hopefully we won't be dealing with any of that garbage this time around, and how about the virtual console? Think we can actually get some GameCube games this time around? And can we do a little bit more than a couple dozen games per system before this whole console gets discontinued and we have to start all over again? The Big N desperately needs to pick things up in this category. Long story short, it's good to see that Nintendo has at least recognized they screwed up with the Wii U, and hopefully the mindset going into the NX is, let's try to not do these wrong things again. The days of the original Wii domination is over, long gone, and Nintendo is realizing that simply slapping Nintendo on something doesn't make it print money. I hope this wake-up call results in something truly awesome the fans can enjoy. With that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on how Nintendo can improve things with the NX in the comments. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.